Mutant XPerience podcast Postscript. We just got done watching my latest episode of the Mutant XPerience podcast with a longtime Third Strike slash FGC vet. He has been a player, content creator, TO, general manager. I don't know. There are a lot of labels. But yeah, we just got done watching our podcast, my podcast with True Tech, and we have True Tech here with us live now. And so, what up, True Tech? Thanks for
What up? What up?
taking some time out for this postscript. Yeah, and so just right off the bat, now that we've heard the podcast, just kind of your thoughts on the episode and after listening to it. I know you listened to it already a while ago, but I'm not sure how much long how much I think it might have been like what about a month since I sent you the draft, maybe. I don't know, something like that. Something like
Yeah, it's
that.
been a few. Yeah, like about 3 weeks, maybe four. Yeah, almost a
Yeah,
month. Yeah,
yeah,
because I know I listened to. I didn't listen to it the full thing for like a couple weeks. It took
yeah,
me a while to listen to the full thing straight through. I'd
yeah.
start, stop, and then so yeah. But then after I said yeah, then we start to schedule this. So yeah, it's been. We've had to. We felt like we recorded that in like it was either April or May. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
then you gave it to me almost a month ago, and then finale was over a month ago. Well, yeah, like we just passed a month, so yeah, it was a while ago. We have a lot of things to say, but I enjoyed the podcast, and honestly, I've had not a lot, but some occasionally you'll get like some of the newer people in the FGC ask about how you got into it,
huh.
and it is going to be cool to be like, yeah, just go listen to this podcast instead of listening to me talk your ear off.
Especially when we consider uh, there's so many stories. There has to be so many stories, right? True Tech.
Oh yeah, there's like, and of course, listening to this makes you think about them, and then all the degenerate years before we were on the strip in Vegas, when we were like, and no one cared about age. So, and then traveling, which I mean, yeah, you still kind of travel, but it's kind of like these days, it's like it's majors or nothing.
Hmm.
So, and then netcode has gotten so good that outside of like you're not so even traveling is not what it was after the pandemic, and plus netcode being better. So we get a lot of things to think about over the years of just from playing Street Fighter.
So towards the end of the podcast, we started talking about. So, like you mentioned, we recorded this back in April, and I was hoping to release it soon after, but life gets in the way. What can you say? But
Of course.
so we, like you said, we recorded in April, and towards the end of the podcast, we talked a lot about our excitement for Jazzy.
Yeah.
This is July. Clearly, Jazzy has come and gone. And so, like, one thing that just struck me right away is like how much foresight we have through tech. Like we sort of called it. Like I don't want to. I mean, there is that overused phrase, right? That I don't want to say, but this idea of speaking something, into existence, it almost kind of eerily felt that way. Like we were, all of the things that we talked about, like listening to the podcast, uh, it made me think of Jazzy. And so, I don't know, did you feel that way too? Or like, how did you feel like listening back on it and thinking about how excited you were for Jazzy? And then obviously you were there, and then just kind of thinking about, how it actually went down.
It like it definitely because it's kind of funny to think like when, at the end we're talking about how I see like my future going in the FGC, and I was like I honestly don't know. And then Jazzy really was just, and Jazzy's the first tournament I think where like I just so for anyone who cares, in singles I went 0-2 like relatively free in their strike at Jazzy. uh, like I think it was like losers. I won a game, but I went 0-2. So I was pretty much working the entire time, and that's the first time where I was like, yeah, this is just what I'm doing. So I got to kind of see everything. I wasn't worried about getting casuals in too much, everything. So I got to see everything and enjoy it, and then see like specifically Sunday finals day when I was walking around and just watching groups of people forming all over the arcade, watching the TV screens above the stations, and they're just watching, literally just watching Third Strike. In the corner where the DDR machines were, there's a couple, dude and his partner, and they're all snuggled up watching Third Strike, and like the excitement. I had never heard of Neobon before Jazzy finale. So like the excitement, everyone cheering for somebody. You got the as much, it's a little cringy to think about, but you got that U.S. versus a foreigner, the aspect of it, and it was just so exciting, and it did revitalize like my love for the FGC. Like it just recharged me after feeling like I was just gonna slowly fade away. Like so, Jazzy was really exciting. I like literally the next day I came home and put on my Jazzy Circuit shirt.
That's sick. That I don't know how to feel about that. I feel that's like wow, like it's yeah, man. Well, I'm glad that you had, I guess, what sounds like a overall positive experience at Jazzy. Like you were talking about how it kind of reignited your interest in the scene. Maybe a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it is because the way that we did it was the way that we have always done it. You know what I mean? Like it's clearly the FGC has scaled and has grown, but
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, and when we think about like grassroots FGC, I know there are a lot of those associations, like you say in the podcast. A lot of us were young, did dumb things, said dumb things. It is what it is. I understand, but like, I maybe you felt that way because Jazzy does things the way we have always done it in terms of
Yeah.
just kind of focusing on the competition and the game. And uh, I think I mentioned this in a lot of other uh, podcasts and streams, but it would be really great to see other retro scenes do this.
Mm-mm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, like uh, I, I don't really see. This is not to kind of like I don't know diminish anything that myself or anyone on the Jazzy board has accomplished. You know, we're coming up on 5 years with the Jazzy
Yeah.
circuit, but like I don't know, like I just can't shake the feeling that like what we've done is it really like anything special, you know? And I know it sounds like clearly like just insane, but like it might. I understand how that might sound insane for some people, but like
Mm-hmm.
it, people had done it before us. Like Jazzy would not have existed if Yipes didn't try the curly circuit, or if
Mm-hmm.
ST didn't have Tournament of Legends. There was the Burst League. Shout outs to the TVC tour. I don't know if anyone knows, but there's a TVC tour right now
Oh, I
going
didn't
on.
know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
I know some people that still get excited about TVC.
yeah,
I'll have to pass that on.
yeah. They're gonna have an auto qualifier or some a type of qualifier. Yeah, it's their first season. Uh, I really should have. I should remember this, but I believe the player, their name is Doctor Science, from Chicago. I think they're like the head of the TVC tour, and like the TVC tour is different because some of the qualifiers are on site. Like some of them have been on site, but others have been online. So it's like I think
Mhm.
they alternate. You know, when it's on site, offline, then it's online, and then offline. I don't know what like the final is going to be But definitely check it out. Just kind of like go on Twitter and type in like Tatsunoko versus Capcom Tour or
Yeah.
TVC Tour. But yeah, shout outs to the TVC scene. Mothman. Not sure if you know Mothman, but Mothman's a California Necro Third Strike player, and also a really great MVC3 player.
Okay, I thought
Um,
I knew that name. He plays Modoc, right?
yeah, Modoc.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Modoc.
I've seen that.
Easily my top three favorite characters in that game.
I saw
Modoc is
that.
so wild. But yeah,
Okay. That's where I was like, yeah, I had a brief, like, not even playing, but like I was in
mhm,
training mode in training mode with Marvel 3 and started watching matches. So that's somewhat like a few months ago, and I was
yeah,
like waiting for Street Fighter 6 to come out.
yeah,
I didn't play nobody. I just
yeah,
learned virtual combos for fun,
yeah. There's a
and
young
that's why.
there's a young cat out here in Brooklyn named Slat Level Up who is trying to revive the Fist of the North Star scene, the
Oof.
Hokuto no Ken.
Ooh.
He started a series called I think it's called Divine Resurrection. Forgive me for forgetting the name, but Slat Level Up is trying to revive the Hokuto scene.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just
Fun
think
game to
it's
watch. That
like,
would not fun to play.
yeah, I just think it's really cool that um other players from other scenes are trying to, I guess, take ownership of like their games, like what makes things like Jazzy like special. It's because the people who are involved in it all love the game to like the most highest degree, right?
Mm.
We have been playing the game, almost its entire existence. And that's what makes all the other scenes so special. And it really is cool to see players from other scenes, really take ownership of their own scenes and, start organizing to kind of help keep their scenes alive. And it really does seem like an exciting time for the
Yeah.
FGC.
Yeah, it's so dope. Especially shout out to Melty Blood making it to Evo this year.
Hmm.
And Climax of Night, where I mean, literally Shinobi decided to just put the game on his back and be like, "Hey, French bread doesn't have like it's always a side game." And he's like, "We want to make this," and they did it. And I don't think he's doing it this year just because he didn't do what you did, which was smart, which is kind of get a team together and move it around. But like he pretty much he created his own major for a game. Like it's possible. I don't have any love for a game enough to do that.
Hmm. Yeah.
But like I remember I do when I was the first game I think I started playing after Third Strike, like I want to play it all the time was Arcana Heart. And it was on PS2 and I had to like all I could do at the time was literally beg people to play me. Like I literally was well, I was out. I was like go to the sessions and people like bring the game with me, and I literally be like, anyone want to play? Anyone with Arcana Heart?" And like even the Guilty Gear players weren't trying to play it. There's like a good handful. So to yeah, like for I think that's the thing with the retro games is like we come from that. We remember that hunger. Remember no one wanting to play our game, or in Third Strike's case, being the top Street Fighter game and then just kind of fading off, and then this new generation of games comes. We don't really get a good port. Our best port these days out is still the PS3 and 360 versions of the game, and so now the like people with the Mister setups and bring in the old arcade boards, like they do like retro games, they do a lot to make their game playable. So yeah, definitely seeing these tours come up and it's literally like one step from having your own arcade board with the USB setups and all that kind of stuff. Like you already did that. What's saying, "Hey, I'm gonna run a bracket," like and getting the plane ticket? That's just a little bit more time commitment. But when you like break it down, it's like I haven't run a tournament by myself in forever, but me and the partner used to run a team tournament every year because they're fun and no one runs team tournaments. And like people still to this day will be like, yeah, I was like, you guys can do that. The same way you run a monthly, all you gotta do is find a teammate and do that. But I'm like, same way where I'm like, it's not anything special. We just did it. But that feeling that people get is still special. So I think that's what it is. We know the logistics. We know all we did was something. But also me being on the other side, just experiencing it, it felt special. So even though it was just another tournament at an arcade, technically, like those don't happen like they used to. So it's different,
Hmm.
and people enjoy that difference. So yeah, it's like I finally got my PC back up and running,
Yeah.
and I'm sneaking in. Like I already got my people who's already hit me up, talking about hit me up on Fightcade. So now I gotta do what I said I was gonna do, and stop. I have to just be bad again.
Yeah, you were
But
talking about all these different games. Like, um, when you think about it, it I know like the FGC is all about, hey, all these different games, all these different scenes. But like the reason why that has any meaning at all is because of the people who have dedicated their entire time in the FGC towards maybe one or two games. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, you know? Um,
no, it helps.
for people in the FGC, like people that have, again, just latched on to one game, and it doesn't matter what game it is. It could be Third Strike, it could be, the Alpha series, it could be Sailor Moon, and it could
Oh yeah,
be
Sailor Moon.
Guilty Gear or Samurai
Which is how I know
Showdown.
Demi, the
Yeah,
Ibuki player. I know Demi is a
yeah,
Sailor Moon player.
yeah. Like sometimes it would be helpful to just kind of like remember like what makes that diversity special, and the reason
Hmm.
special in the first place is because of those people in the scene who just love a one particular game so much that they're just gonna
Hmm.
throw their entire energy towards that game,
Yeah.
and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I think it's
No,
kind
that
of
used to
good.
be kind of an insult too. It used to, like back in the day, they'd be like
Oh
if you
yeah,
were
that's
only
right. Yeah, right. I
yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I used
from
to
a
get a lot
competitive
of
aspect, yeah, I remember
exact. I used to get
that.
like not a lot, but I used to get some shit talk from people, even locally, because all I cared about was Third Strike, and so and I would beat them in Third Strike, but they'd be like, but you can't beat me in this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't play that." It's like exactly, I'll beat you in 4 games, you can beat me in
Yeah,
one, but I'm
yeah,
like, I don't play, and that was an insult for some time, but now I think. It's not the same. Yeah, people can focus on their game and like, yeah, this is what they play, and it's not like a.
yeah.
But yeah, for a while back in the day, it was kind of an insult to be called the games be a game specialist or whatever.
I think it's just kind of mindset too. Like when, like, say, if I find myself in a space where like there's the most godlike players assembled for a game that I don't play. Like these are the play these you like I look at them with sort of this respect and reverence, right? I don't look at
Mm.
it as, oh, well, it's Street Fighter, I could beat this dude, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that mindset. It's good to have that competitive mindset, especially if you want to be a competitor. But
Mm.
here's an example. Like I stopped by the ST barbecue that happened like a couple months ago at
Mm.
Brooklyn Games, and shout outs to Mega Man, Anthony, for organizing that, and Steve and Cruz and the entire crew at Brooklyn Games. But yeah, I stopped by the ST barbecue. It was a barbecue ST tournament. Freaking Mega Man entered me. Just didn't even tell me he was gonna enter me. I was eating chicken in the back, and then Mega Man just peeked his head out. He's like, "Yo, Ant, I entered you in the tournament." And I'm like, "All right." So yeah, I played Vicky Viper first round. I don't think I won a game. I think I got swept 3-0. And then I think I won another game, and then finally comeback beat me. So yeah, my run at the ST barbecue singles was short lived. But like while I was there, I was like, I mean, I'm the Third Strike guy, okay, well, like this is an ST thing, and these are all the most godlike ST players, and like you got to respect that, right? Like that's like when I was there, it was like I was looking at them like, oh wow, these are like the greatest ST players in the history of America. If that makes any sense, I don't know where I'm going with this, but like it's just kind of a mindset too, right? Just kind of having respect for those players that do dedicate their time and energy to just one game.
Yeah, especially I mean, especially now that we're all older and we don't have the time. Like even me, like I'm freelancing, and so I have more time than most. But I'm applying for jobs, and
Yeah,
so like I'm like even then I spend my time on that, and then, like so I have more time than usual than I normally would have to play. So I've been playing a bunch of six, but like even then, like even with that, that's not how much time I used to spend on the game when I was younger.
yeah.
So like you know you put your time where you want to where you have the time to go. And right now for me that's for Third Strike and Six and maybe a little Melty. Well, if I was going to Evo, but actually not even with that, maybe I might not even play. I'll probably watch. But like that's it. That's all I got time for. I got time for Third Strike and I got time for Street Fighter Six. And luckily with Aki, I can get both in the same place for at the monthlies. But that's all I can focus on if you're Sonic Fox or Punk or Chris G or are just like there's not a lot of people that can do like even back then I was like it was crazy how you could be respectable in multiple games,
Hmm.
but Justin was an anomaly to be one of the best in all those games. Like typically you got your best game and then you got your side games that you're okay at, like Sanford, who was Marvel God, pretty good at CBS too. He wasn't doing anything at Third Strike or anything else really. So to like yeah, like it's there outside of those anomalies, typically you should be focusing on one or two games and just putting your heart in that and go from there. Like you're not. I mean, try it, see how it works out for you. And I did for a little bit where I was playing like 5 games, and I kept getting like fourth and fifth and in them. And then I started. Then when I stopped and I played literally one game, I went almost a year undefeated. So like yeah, it don't work, especially when you're grown to be playing a ton of stuff at the same time. It doesn't unless that's your job. So yeah, focus on whatever you want to play. There's probably a Discord for it. You could I'm sure if I looked hard enough I could find a big Bane beat Discord and people are playing the game. So yeah. But I hope I hope people do uh see Jazzy and imitate what they're doing for everything. I know Vampire Savior has
Oh yeah,
some sort of league.
oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I completely forgot about Vampire Arcadia. Yeah. Vampire
Yeah.
Arcadia is like they're to for just for me they're like the example. They're like
Yeah.
to me they're sort of what I think a lot of retro scenes should
Mm-hmm.
aspire.
I really enjoy Vampire Saver. I love watching it. It is a game that I'll play casually, but I'm not. I play Jetta, who's a weak character in that game. So even if I had the time, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah, speaking of VSAV, right? Like it's so cool. Like I think it
Yeah, here,
was
cat.
Mighty Mar. So at
Oh
the
yeah.
Logan Auto Qualifier, Mighty Mar and Felicia player, not Ailerus, but the other Felicia player. Getting us old. Uh, so Mighty Mar
I know Mighty
and
Mark because he plays the mummy. I know him.
Typhus.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him, but I know of Mighty Mar.
I think that's his name. So anyway, there are these two top American VSAT players, and they attended the Jazzy auto qualifier at Logan Arcade in Chicago. They didn't enter; they just came to support. And
Hmm.
Mighty Mar brought his Mister. Had a little portable monitor, and so was playing. I actually I think when the first time I saw Mighty Mar at the event, he was playing Marvel superheroes on the Mister, and so yeah, and like they were, and I got to chop it up with them, and yeah, I really liked the conversation I had with them because these are two players that sort of are like parallel to other scenes in terms of their dedication to like one game. And we were talking about going to Japan and how they were talking about their arcade experiences, and I was talking about my arcade experiences. And yeah, it was just like really cool to just talk to like people that like were so dedicated to their game. And it's funny that you like call players like Justin and Chris anomalies, because okay, I understand, there is a basic kind of blueprint for all fighting games. I get it. But and I don't know, maybe you don't, maybe people may not agree with this analogy, but it's almost like if you were like a pro hockey player, right? And you
Mhm.
just thought that you could just step on the field during an NFL game, like a professional NFL game, or
Yeah,
vice versa, right? Like it's like if an
exactly.
NFL player just expects that they could just hang in an NHL game. Again, fighting games
Yeah,
are a little bit more similar, but like, and to me, that's what makes players like Justin and Chris G and Ricky,
yeah. Like
that's
not
what makes
everyone's
them that
MJ.
yeah, that's
Not
what
everyone
makes
can
yeah,
do it at the
that's
top level.
yeah, that's what makes them so super special, right? That they're like the
Exactly.
equivalent of these like two sport athletes, I
Yeah,
remember
it's like
back in the
these are
day, right? Who
somehow
was
they're Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
Like that's
exactly.
the thing. They're doing
Yeah.
it well too. Like how like and I've at and like when Chris G was here a couple years ago, I literally asked him. I was like, how do you switch so easily?" And he's just like, "I've always done it." Like he had nothing
Nuts.
for me. He's like,
Nuts.
I just do it.
Nuts.
I just always done it." And that's I'm
Nuts.
like, bro, like I have issues switching characters.
Mhm. Mhm.
Let alone in the same game,
Mhm.
and they're like switching games. And yeah, I literally at Jazzy, someone had a Street Fighter 6 set up. I played a few matches, and then I went to go play Third Strike, and I did the wrong parry. And that was literally, and I had at that time about a week of Street Fighter 6. Like
Mhm.
I literally had no access to any of the betas. I didn't have a computer until literally the week of the game launch. So it wasn't like I had a ton of muscle memory on this game. And literally it went, I play 5 matches or so, go play Third Strike because I was like, okay, everyone good is here. I'm just gonna go soak up some knowledge, play some casuals, and yeah, it literally the first game back, I did a Street Fighter 6 parry, and just got hit out of an overhead because of it. So like it's for them to be top level at switching and they do it back to back to be like, hey, play this game, then go play this game and be at a top level. Like it's an anomaly. You're not all good. Like some of it, some of it's like, hey, if you run fast in NFL, maybe you can run fast in track, and there's a little crossover. But yeah, like you said, it's like they're picking up a whole new sport, and they can be top at it. So for the rest of us though, maybe you play basketball and maybe you run a little track and that's it. Or maybe you just play basketball. But maybe hockey's not your thing, and that's okay. Maybe you just need to watch some hockey. And that's how I'm feeling right. That's how I feel right now. Like I'll watch you on Twitch. I'll probably have a little Evo watch party and watch all these games that I don't even play, like Tekken or something like that. But
Is hockey the
I
most
just
difficult sport, do you think?
I th-
I
I would
think it
probably
has
say
to be
so.
like either number two. Like it has to be either like number one or like it has to be at least top three in the top three.
I think so. We could like that or like, oh, what's kind of my like because I mean I think once you know how to skate, skating isn't that
Yeah, but the thing
difficult.
about the
But you know what I think it
physicality,
might be?
right?
Lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse is
Lacrosse is just
pretty.
they're throwing the ball into
Oh
the small
yeah,
net.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
know it gets made fun of because it's a rich
No,
sport,
no, you get
but
beat up in lacrosse. You get beat up in
yeah,
lacrosse.
like I know
Yeah.
it has that connotation of just rich people play that, but like that game is like you gotta do all that
No, no, you
and
get
toss the
legit
ball.
hurt in lacrosse. Like they legit beat you up in lacrosse. Like
Yeah, so it just has that connotation of only rich people play this because the equipment's like it's like well, I guess the schools that play it. But I've watched lacrosse and that shit looks difficult.
Well, that
So I'm
stuff
looking
ain't
to
made out of cotton candy, that's for sure. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
so before we end the postscript, I just want to make sure we mention your photography. You had alluded to it earlier, but for those of you who may not know, True Tech was the official photographer and videographer for Jazzy Finale at Akihabara Arcade, and we still haven't even talked about Akihabara Arcade. Too much stuff to talk about, but yeah, like before we forget. Tell us a little bit about your photography and how people can, get a hold of you and check out your work.
Yes, yes, yes. I appreciate it. Yes, I was the official photographer for Jazzy. Uh, I'm still working on the video part of it. I have some good clips, but video. I'm still learning my
All
video to make
good,
it
all
look like my
good. You're
photography.
good. It's all
But
good.
I want to hopefully put out just like a I don't know short trailer with some of the hype moments there. But if you're interested in photography, whether that be portrait photography, headshots, events, wedding, or editorial or commercial, you can check out my work at shotbytherobot.com, or for editorial and commercial work, you can check me out at bychrisjones.com. And
You're a
if you
mod, so
got
I think you can put the links in
oh
the chat. I think. Yeah,
hey
but yeah, and we'll make sure we
little
put
self
the we'll make sure
promotion,
we'll put those links in the description when we get this up on YouTube.
little self promotion, hey.
And you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, the photos were amazing. Like,
Oh yeah, I was
uh,
very happy with how
uh,
everything came out.
how
And
difficult was that? Like in terms of like just because of the lighting and how inconsistent it is oftentimes in
yeah,
arcades I don't think people like it's kind of difficult to shoot in a place like that, right? I
yeah, it's
would
like
say.
it was pretty dark the
Yeah,
entire time, and so and you don't want to have. I used to back in the day use a bit more flash,
yeah,
but for that you have to literally. I would literally set up a light on the stage and have it at the
yeah.
on the stream setup. But even then, now like I would use a trigger. I literally have to watch them,
Huh.
and that would then make me miss all these other shots. So I was like, this isn't gonna work. So you just have to learn how to do with it. But yeah,
Mhm.
like you had to. I was basically watch. There was the one light that would change colors, and I would have to watch that light and when it was at its brightest. Shoots like so. I have stuff that won't see the light of day, but like I have same shots of the shots of the same scene where like it's a blue light. Oh, you can't see nobody. It's too dark. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it turned white, or and I'm like, yes, okay, cool, I can get switch shot. Sunday was difficult because no one was playing, everyone was just watching.
uh,
Whereas the rest of it, everyone, the lights in the cabs and everything could help a bit. And some of that's my favorite stuff, where you're like everything else is dark, but their face is lit up because they're sitting at the cab.
yeah.
Like that kind of stuff was so. But the way I had a lot of fun, and I was definitely stoked with how the photos came out, because my main thing is I think is I always try to shoot with like a documentary eye.
Mhm.
And I don't want it to be like, hey, this is just a cool event. I want to make it seem like feel how it was to be there. And I definitely was happy with everything that came with everything I put out over the weekend. So but yeah, it was uh just thank goodness for technology and for lenses that have wide apertures, because that was what saved me that entire weekend. And like I said, it was, but it was, they're definitely like, if some people like, like I said, technology helps a lot. There are some where I'm like, I think I can save that, and there are some where I'm like, that looks like a person, that looks like Noob Saibot before he gets unlocked. And like sometimes you can make it work with, like I said, reflection from a cabinet, the light from the stage, um, and then like some of them they're dark, but just that reflection in their eyes. Like I have a photo of Frankie, and you can see the reflection of the game in his glasses, and I was yeah, that like sometimes that's like yeah. So man, actually now I need to update my website with some of that stuff. Actually, now I think about it, but yeah, I was really happy with how the Jazzy photos came out.
You
And
know,
let's link those too.
yeah. Yeah. Also, after listening to the podcast, one of the things that I was a little bummed out about is that we didn't really talk about Aki.
Oh yeah, no,
What
right?
again? What an amazing venue! Just Brandon, the owner, was so accommodating. Just went above and beyond to help us run the event and make sure it everything went smoothly. So yeah, just anything you want to say about Akihabara Arcade?
Yeah,
Because here's the thing, right? Like I guess what we're kind of saying in this postscript is there's nothing like an arcade, like there's nothing like a tournament or an event at an arcade.
yeah.
But in order
It's
to do that, right, we got to support our locals. We got to support
mhm.
these businesses that are trying to keep that experience alive. And it's great to have arcades at like conventions and venue and events and things like that. But like I think what made Jazzy really special to a lot of people is because it was at an actual arcade, and that's what was really cool about it to me.
Yeah, Aki is, I always say it, the best arcade in the Western Hemisphere. And I
What
will,
up, Virgo? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Johan was in the
no worries.
studio. I just
Yeah, I would definitely always say Aki is the best arcade in the Western Hemisphere, and that's just because I haven't been to Japan yet. But
yeah.
Aki is like, and like to watch it and to see it expand and go from where it was literally that one door when you first walk in is what Aki used to be. Like where the opening is to get into the SGC area, where to get into the where the cabs are at. That didn't exist. That was a wall. That's all it was when Aki first there. And because of people bigging it up within the community, as well as I'm sure it gets customers. I don't know about them. I don't know about the bar goers if they got regulars or not, or if they're just having date night and all that stuff. But like everything's expanded to where it's at now, to the size of it, to and like I said, Brandon, the owner, loves Third Strike just like we do,
Mhm.
and so he will always go above and beyond and make sure that we can have space for stuff like this, so where we can have the retro game only tournaments that they'll have like Coin Op Cup and Akizimi will have Third Strike because Brandon loves Third Strike and always is going to support Third Strike. And we got even Ryan who lives in Chicago now, but it's still Colorado in his heart. He knows it, but it will still be supporting and stuff like that. So yeah, like everybody, Akihabara Arcade. They're at Akihabara Arcade on Twitter, Akihabara Denver on Instagram. Here and just keep an eye out. Then, well, like we always have tournaments. If anyone's playing six, we have our monthlies every month up in Aki, and in October we have an Aki Zimi, which is gonna have Third Strike there. So if you looking for an excuse to come out and you want to see it, and you want to come to a tournament because you don't want to just come out and here, that's an option for you. But yeah, if anyone ever wants to come out to Colorado, you got a cheap Southwest sale or something, and you say, hey, I just want to go see it, let us know. We will show up and come play Third Strike. Just all you gotta do is let us know you're coming and visit and pick up Aki.
And they just opened a Bonchan, just a short
Oh
walk
yes.
away from Aki. And
Yes,
Aki
but
is also just a short stroll away from an Alamo draft house. I have to mention this,
yeah, slowly right
Chris.
across the
So
street. The Alamo is right
yeah,
across the street, and Avonjan
yeah.
is like a block away.
So I have to tell you this story, Chris. I don't. It has absolutely no relevance with FGC, but maybe it does. But my wife and I went to see Barbie earlier today, and we went to see it at the Alamo Draft House in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, and it was ridiculous. Like I just could because I went to see a movie the day after the Jazzy finale after on Monday morning after I tore down for the event. I still had some time. My flight wasn't until like later at night, so like I decided to watch The Flash because there's an Alamo Draft House for those of you who've never been to Aki. There's an Alamo Draft House like across the street from Aki, and I'm pretty sure it was. I don't. I'm pretty sure like I have to check like the website for the prices, but when I went there for the matinee, I think it was like $9 for the matinee at the Westminster Draft House. Let me see what the. I don't want to spread misinformation, so I'm gonna go ahead and go on the website and see what the. Oh, okay, it's $10. $10. Yeah, yeah, $10. And so matinee in Brooklyn is like $16. $6 difference. That is nuts. And so that's the one thing I immediately recognized when I went to Denver because I had never been to Colorado before. And so, you know, a lot of stuff is a lot cheaper there than New York. And so, but it's definitely Aki's in a really good neighborhood. Real pretty safe. Also, Aki hooked it up. Brandon hooked it up with the food trucks.
Yes.
Brandon got some food trucks to come during the event. Yo, Omega Urian, long time no see, man. What up, Nick? How was Barbie? I plead the fifth. I'm not. I don't give spoilers. So nice try. I'm going to stay solid on that one. Yeah, but yeah, going back to your I miss you too, Nick. So yeah, going back to your photography, aside from arcade events, clearly, what are some other things that you have shot in the past, or things that you like to shoot?
Besides the event stuff, literally, actually, a couple weeks, was it a couple weeks ago? Yeah, a couple weeks ago, I did a wedding, which
Hmm.
was super fun. Weddings are always fun. Here, that's one of those things here. But yeah, like I've done different kinds of events. I've done dances. Like literally, my tattoo shop that I used to go to, they hold like a ball basically
Yeah,
every year where the proceeds go to cancer research because one of their apprentices passed away of cancer. So they do that every year, and I actually for one of those I did design and the shooting of stuff like that. Live music, worked with artists and done promo work for them as well as shows. Working with businesses, doing product photography or fashion and uh, lifestyle photography. Um, but yeah, so I'm honestly anyone out there needs a photographer.
excellent.
I specifically, especially right now, I love weddings. So I love, especially FGC weddings. I gotta
Oh,
say,
weddings are great. Weddings are great.
from my
Yeah,
experience,
yeah. We planned our own
F-
wedding, and I had a blast planning it. Well, I mean, I'm a TO, right? So like,
yeah, like from my experience,
I
FGC
think TOs
weddings
would
they
make
tend to pick good
amazing wedding
partners.
planners, right? Like, I think TOs legit would make amazing wedding planners.
Oh yeah,
Yo, Jahan, you're in the wrong racket, dog. You need to start that wedding planning business,
yeah, bro. And like so
Jahan.
everything with weddings, they get that bump in pay. Everything is like as soon as you say a wedding's attached to it, the price goes up. So it's
That's
up
the side
there.
hustle for TOs, right? Like, I mean, I get it. TOs,
Yeah, I mean
it's
TOs are
a
they're gonna
selfless
know
thing, right?
venues. Yeah, they're gonna know all the different venue options and
No, no,
there
I mean,
and
being
stuff
a
like
wedding
that. They're
planner
gonna
is,
know the
is not.
people.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Being a
But
wedding
yeah,
planner
like
is pretty
I
tough.
will say I've done a fair amount of FGT weddings, and from my experience, they tend to pick good partners. So
Yeah.
I've always had a blast at FGC weddings because their significant others are usually really fun. Because you're dealing with someone who plays Street Fighter for a hobby, and that's like a large part of their life. You
Mm,
got to be a cool person to deal with that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That could be
So
your
yeah,
niche. That could be your niche, True Tech.
I would love to be the
You
FGC wedding
specialize in
photographer.
FGC. Yes, you specialize in photographing FGC weddings.
I would love to, especially the ones that Okay, I have not yet to been to a wedding that had a cabinet at the wedding, so I need one of
Okay.
those. I need someone to hire me. I'll even give you a discount on my rate, and I'll give you a discount on my travel
Just
rate.
if there's a
And
cabin there.
if there's a cab there, and I get
And there's
portraits
third
of the.
strike, right? And there's third strike in there.
I mean, preferably third strike, but
I mean, you're on a
I
third strike
will,
podcast. Just lie and say,
yeah, preferably third strike, but I will contemplate other games
yeah.
like something like that.
And maybe get
But
a
I
Mr.
mean,
Cade in there, or something.
I think third strike's the right demographic. ST,
Uh,
that's probably like if you're playing ST outside of like a couple people, that means this is probably like your second or third wedding, and I'm a little
damn.
leery of those.
Damn. That was a lot of
just age,
assumptions
just
there.
just age wise, I'm just saying, just age. There's some younger ST players. One of them I shot their wedding last year actually. Shout out to Vincent,
Okay.
Cammy player. But most ST players are gonna be old enough that they should have been married already. They don't need me.
Damn. Okay. Well, on that note, before we get into any more trouble, but no, in all seriousness, Chris, it was great recording the podcast with you. This script went way too long, but I definitely had a good time. You're welcome back on the show anytime. Good luck on the SF6 grind.
Yes,
And who do you main? You main Kimberly? Is that what you?
I main Kimberly,
Okay.
and I main Kimberly, which she's really fun and she's good, but also everyone else is better.
Yeah.
So you'd have to deal with that. And then I've been playing Jamie on the side. We're gonna see because you can't escape their strike. So I've been playing Jamie on the side. So I already got Kimberly the master, so we're good there. But this
Yeah.
grind and everyone's playing, but it's so fun to be like I won't lie to be like just get on. I mean, well that's kind of is with Fight K too. You can always get on and there's always games and
Yeah.
yeah. So I've been enjoying it but here so we'll see what happens. But third strike is still on mine. I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna like a schedule so I can get both in and because I don't want to go 0-2 again
Well,
in third strike. So I
yeah.
definitely got to get my practice in.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to seeing you make some noise, whether it's in six or glad that you're kind of sort of back, trying to shake off the rust with third strike. We need more Yun players.
Do we?
I think
Okay.
so. I think so. I think we need
All
more
right.
Yun players, but that's a whole nother podcast. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and end the postscript here. But thanks to everyone who watched the live premiere of the podcast. This will be up on YouTube sometime tomorrow, and so definitely check it out. And yeah, again, True Tech. Like we said in the podcast, we've known each other for quite a while now, and so it was finally great to you know reunite and talk with you and had a blast at the finale. And yeah, looking forward to the next time we're together. So, you know, take care, man.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you very much for having me. Peace out, everybody. If you listen to this, I appreciate it. And if you play Kimberly, come find me on Twitter because I'm trying to post tips. And I think I found that's the next step is just trying to help everybody else get better. So if you play in Kimberly and you need, come follow me, find me on Twitter. Let's talk.
All right. Later, everyone. Thanks for tuning
Peace,
in.
peace, peace.